Hi everyone, welcome to our channel Education to All. My name is Mohan and I am passionate about science. Today we are kicking off a series on the science light reflection. So that is reflection of light. So introduction of light. So it is a branch of physics deals with properties of light. So what is that? It is the deals with properties of light. So light is always travels in a straight line. So light cannot travel in a curvilinear path. So it is always travels in the straight path. It cannot travel in a curved path. So the phenomena of light traveling in a straight line is called rectilinear propagation. So the propagation of light travels in a straight line. It is called as the rectilinear propagation. So it is also called as rectilinear propagation of light. So light is an invisible form of energy. So actually light cannot visible. So because of light we can able to see in some things. So that is the reflection of light. So that we can call as light is invisible form of energy. So which causes sensation of sight. Which causes sensation of sight. So the velocity of light is, so that means, for example, if you take one source, for example, sun. So from sun, the light rays will travel. So it will travel from the sun, So it will travel and reaches earth, reaches on the earth. So it has some velocity. The velocity of light is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. So the study of light is called as the optics. So the study of light is called as the optics. Next terms related to light. So the first one is source of light. So source. So first of all, what is source? The source is an object from which light comes. The sources which are emits the light or which are gives light is called as the source of light. For example, sun and stars, glowworms and so on. So these are the sources of light. So the sources is two types we have, that is luminous source of light and non-luminous source of light. The first one is luminous source of light. So luminous source of light means an object which can emit light by own is called luminous source of light. So that means the objects which are emits light by own is called the luminous source of light. For example, sun, stars, glowworms and so on is called as the luminous source of light. The second one is non-luminous source of light. Non-luminous source of light means nothing. And second one is non-luminous source of light. Non-luminous source of light. An object which cannot emit light but it can reflect the light. It cannot emit light but it can reflect the light is called as the non-luminous source of light. The examples of non-luminous source of light is moon, furniture, wall, electric pole and so on. Trees, everything is non-luminous source of light example. Next one, medium. So medium is nothing but it is a substance through which light propagates or travels. It is a substance through which light propagates or travels is called a medium. So generally medium is subdivided into three types. The first one is transparent medium. A medium which allows the light completely or most of the light or easily pass through it is called a transparent medium. The best examples of transparent medium is glass, vacuum, clear air and so on. So these are the examples of transparent medium. Next, second one is translucent medium. So translucent medium means a medium which partially allow through it. So the light energy is passes partially is called a translucent medium. The best examples of translucent medium is oil paper, tissue paper and butter paper, and frosted glass also is best examples for transparent medium. Next, third one is opaque medium. The bodies which do not allow the light to pass through it is called a opaque body. So that means which do not allow. so which cannot allow the light to pass through it. For example, if we take one mirror, so through this mirror light cannot travel. So the light rays is fall onto the mirror. After that, it is at that point it will reflect the light, or completely it will reflect the light. So it is called the opaque medium. The examples of opaque medium is wood, plastic, bricks, walls, electric poles, trees. These are the opaque body examples. Next basic term is ray of light. So ray of light means nothing. The path along which light energy travels in a given direction is called ray of light. For example, if you take one ray, so the ray travel along with the light energy travels in a given direction is called the ray of light. Next, beam of light. So beam of light means nothing. The collection of number of rays is called a beam of light. So the beam of light is depends on the traveling, depends on the path. It will be subdivided into three types. That is the parallel beam of light, divergent beam of light, and at the same time converging beam of light. Converging beam of light. So it will be subdivided into three parts. So that is convergent, divergent, and parallel beam of rays. So parallel beam of light rays means nothing. When the rays of light travel parallel to each other is called a parallel beam of light rays. So you can compare this. These all rays are travel parallel to each other. So that we can call as the parallel beam of rays. Next, convergent beam of rays. Convergent beam of rays. So when the rays of light coming from the different positions or different directions and met at a one particular point, such rays is called as the convergent beam of rays. So you can observe here. So this is one light ray. This is another light ray. This is another light ray. This is another light ray. All the light rays are coming from the different places. This is some other, this is some other, this is some other, and met at a particular point is called as the converging point. This point is called the converging point, and these rays are called the converging rays. Next, another one, divergent beam of rays. So divergent beam of rays means nothing. The light rays which are originating from a point and travels in a various directions is called a divergent beam of rays. So you can observe here. So this is one point. From this point, originating from this point, it will travel in different directions. This is another direction, this is one direction, this is another direction, and it will travel different directions. This type of collection of rays is called the divergent beam of rays. So next, the main topics, that is reflection of light. So now we are going to discuss about the reflection of light. Reflection of light means nothing. When the light rays are coming from the source, it will fall onto the object and reflected back into the same medium is called the reflection of light. So for example, if you can take one mirror, so this is M dash mirror, M dash mirror. When the light rays are travel from the source of light, so that is sun, and it will fall onto the mirror and reflected back into the same medium. So this ray is called as the incident ray. This ray is called as the reflected ray. So from this point, we can draw a one normal line. So that is the normal line makes, the normal is always makes 90 degrees with respect to the mirror. So the angle between the normal ray and incident ray is called the angle of incidence. The angle between the normal and reflected ray is called the angle of reflection. The angle between the incident ray and mirror is called as the glancing angle of incidence. The angle between the reflected ray and mirror is called the glancing angle of reflection. So you can observe that the incident rays are coming from the source, it will fall onto the object and reflected back into the same medium. So same medium, how can you say, means the incident ray and reflected ray must be in the same medium or same plane. So you can observe that this is the one medium, that is mirror, So mirror above side will both are having, that is incident ray and reflected ray, so that we can say that the incident ray and reflected ray must be in the same plane or same medium. So this reflection simply you can define as bouncing back of light rays is called the reflection. So what is that? Bouncing back of light is called reflection. For example, this is the incident ray. This incident ray is bounces back into the same medium. So that is a small easiest definition. Another definition for reflection of light: light comes back into the medium from where boundary is separating. So this is the boundary line, that is the mirror. Boundary separating two media is called the reflection of light. So what is that? The boundary separating by the two media is called reflection of light. So this is a small diagram for reflection of light. Next, laws of reflection. Laws of reflection. Laws of reflection. So we have two laws of reflection. So I am going to draw the one diagram. So this is the plane mirror, this is the incident ray, this is the reflected ray. From the point we can draw a one straight line, that is 90 degrees. It is called as the normal, you know very well. So the angle between the incident ray and normal line is angle of incidence. The angle between the reflected ray and normal is called the angle of reflection. So the first law of reflection is angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. That is, angle I is equal to angle R. So that means how much angle it makes the incident ray with respect to normal line, the same angle it will makes the with respect to reflected ray. So that is the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. The second one is incident ray, reflected ray and normal all are lie in the same plane. So that means incident ray, reflected ray, normal and point of incidence. So all points are met one point now. So this point is called as the point of incidence. Point of incidence. Point of incidence. So incident ray, reflected ray and normal and point of incidence all are lie in the same plane. All are lie in the same plane. So these two are the laws of reflection. Next, I am going to discuss about the types of reflection. Types of reflection. So types of reflection. Types of reflection. First one is regular reflection. First one, regular reflection. So regular reflection means, so it can be happens on the regular surface. Simply we can say that it can happens on the regular surface. For example, take one plane mirror. So this is the one incident ray, this is another incident ray. So these two incident rays are coming from the source parallel to each other. After reflection also it must be travels parallel to each other. So this is the regular reflection. The regular reflection is occurs on the smooth surface or polished surface. For example, plane mirror. The second one is irregular reflection. Irregular reflection. Or diffusion reflection. Diffusion reflection. So this diffusion reflection will be occurs on the irregular surfaces or uneven surfaces. So this is one uneven surface or irregular surface. When the light rays are travel from the source or coming from the source, it will travel parallel to each other. After reflection, it cannot travel parallel to each other. This ray will travel like this ray will travel like this. these two reflected rays, this is reflected ray, this is a reflected ray, here also reflected rays. These two reflected rays does not travel parallel to each other because of irregular surface. This is called as the irregular reflection or diffused reflection. So one more point, that is both regular and irregular reflection is applicable for laws of reflection. Both regular and irregular reflection have same laws of reflection. So that means here what are the laws are there? That is angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Here also angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Then second law is incident ray, reflected ray and normal line, point of incidence all are lying in the same plane. Here also incident ray, reflected ray, normal and point of incidence all are lying in the same plane. So you can draw a normal here, this is one normal. You can draw a normal here, this is one normal. So here also you can draw the normal, that is normal. This is also normal. So both regular and irregular reflection having same laws. So that means both the reflection is applicable for laws of reflection. Next we are going to discuss about the angle of deviation. Angle of deviation. So angle of deviation it means, for example, if you take one reflection diagram, so this is the reflection. So this is a reflected ray, incident ray, and this is the normal. So for example, you can assume that there is no mirror here, the light ray, so that means incident ray will travel. Light rays is always travel in a straight path. For example, there is no mirror here, so it must be travel straight path like this. So because of this mirror, the direction of the incident ray will be changes from one direction to another direction. So simply it will divert from this direction to this direction. So angle of deviation means it will be how much angle will be deviated. For example, the angle between the reflected ray and the extended incident ray is called the angle of deviation. So the angle of deviation is denoted by or represented by small or capital delta. So this is we can define like this. So you know very well angle in the straight line is 180 degrees. Angle in the straight line is 180 degrees. So you can consider as this ray and this ray must be in the straight path. So this total angle you can consider as the 180 degrees. So you know very well that is angle of incidence. The angle between the normal and incident ray is the angle of incidence. The angle between the normal and the reflected ray is the angle of reflection. Then you need to find this angle only. This total angle in the straight line is 180 degrees is equal to the sum of angle of incidence and sum of angle of reflection and deviated angle delta. So from the laws of reflection, that is first law of reflection. First law of reflection, angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. So we can substitute here, that is 180 degrees is equal to angle I plus delta. So angle I plus angle I is 2 angle I plus delta. So we need to find the only deviated angle, that is this one. So that is delta is equal to 180 times both these terms. So that is 180 degree minus 2 angle I. So this is called the angle of deviation. Okay. So thank you.